We know about the default clients 000, 001, and 066. 000 client is for maintenance of the repository objects only. At the time of support package upgradation and software upgradation, we use that 000 client. Gone. 066, that is a service client, so we don't use that. Only SAP people will use that. The remaining one is 001 client, but nobody is interested to work in 001 client. Then where I need to do my development, where I need to do my quality, in which client I need to do production. So we have to create a new client. We have to create a new client. How to do
Different.
that? So the client administration, the client maintenance is there is a T code called SCC4.
This is
SCC4. If you hit SCC4, it will show you all the clients. What are the default clients here in this system? This is a brand new system. We are having three default clients: 000, 001, and 066. Okay. Now I want to create a new client. See how to create. Simple. This is in display mode now. Go to change mode. This is your change button. Pencil button is there now. Change. When I say change, it is saying something. What? Caution. The table is cross
first
client.
line.
What is the meaning of cross client table? What is the meaning of cross client table? The
It
table
will
contains
refresh
the common data. Common data.
comment.
If you log in with the 000, 001, and 066 or any other client, you can access this data. That is the meaning of cross client table, right? See here, after going to change mode, I am getting one option called a new entries. Click on that and give a client number. Can anyone give me one client number? 3-digit numeric, it should be. Can I give 100?
Yes.
Yes. For what you are using this? For example, for development purpose, I am using this. Okay. City. What is your city?
Hyderabad.
Let's take Hyderabad. What is currency in Hyderabad?
INR.
Indian rupees, right? So if you want to select, see, if it these are the called as customizing settings. You'll have number of options. From that, you have to choose one. This is called a customization. Indian rupees. Client role. When I'm saying it is a development, it is a development. So client role will be what? Production? No. Test?
Production.
No. Demo? No. Not training, not reference. So customization client. Changes, settings client. So leave this logical system. I'll tell you what is logical system exactly. Say client number, why you are using that client, and the city, currency, and the client role. And we'll have some settings. We'll discuss about these settings tomorrow. Okay. As of now, just create a client. Data was saved. Now again go to SCC4. Now see what happens. We got a newly created client, 30th August.
Yes.
Now you use this client for my development. In this client, if you want to do anything in the system changes, then you do everything in development client. Okay, in which client I logged in now? See here, 000 client by using SAP Star User. So what I am doing now, I have created a new client. See, by default I got three clients: 000, 001, and 066. 000 in a database you'll have different types of data: application data, client specific customizing data, user master data, cross client customizing data, and repository data. You know all these things, right? This 000 will have access to all the tables of the database. I don't want to use these three clients. I want to use a newly created client. So what I do, I'll create a new client called 100. This 100 client don't have any access to the database data. Who is having entire access? 000. That is the reason what I am doing here means I'll copy from 000 to 100. That means every authorization of 000 will be copied to 100. Now what happens? 100 will have access to all the tables of the database. Then I can log in into 100 client and I'll do all my development activities, customizations, modifications, enhancements, everything there. That is what I'm doing there. Just I created a newly created client. See, what is my newly created client here? 100. Now I want to
100.
copy authorizations of 000 to 100. Whatever the content 000 has, that content to 100. That copying of a client is called as client copy. Copying data from one client to another client is called as what? Client copy.
Copy.
There are three types of client copies in SAP. One is a local client copy, second one is remote client copy, third one is client export and import. What are they? Local client copy, remote client copy,
Remote client.
client
Client export
export and
and
import. See, what is the difference between three? This is one system, right? This one system. The source
The
client.
screen.
Okay, sorry. If the source client and the target client both belongs to same system, for example, this is my development system. My SID is SAP SID is dev. If the source client and the target client belongs to same system, then we perform local client copy. If the source client and the target client belongs to same system, then we perform local client copy. If I have two systems, now 100 is in one system, 200 is in one system. For example, the source client belongs to one system, target client belongs to one system. Then we perform a remote client copy. Remote client copy means the source client and the target client belongs to different systems. And third one is what? Client export import method. There also the source client and the target client belongs to different system. The same scenario. But for remote client copy, we use RFC mechanism, remote function call mechanism. For client export import, we use TMS mechanism, transport management system mechanism. And you don't know what is RFC, you don't know what is TMS. We'll see later what is RFC and what is TMS. As of now, just to have this sentence with you. What is the meaning of local client copy? Client copy. Sir, three types. What are they? Local client copy,
Local.
remote client
Remote
copy,
client copy.
client
Client
export
export
import.
Client export and import.
Local client copy means if the source client and target client belongs to same systems, then we perform local client copy. If the source client and target client belongs to different systems, then we perform remote client copy or client export import. Anyone. If you want to perform remote client copy, you have to create RFC connection between source and target. RFC means remote function call. If you want to do client export import, TMS should be configured between two systems. TMS should be configured between two systems. We'll see one by one. What is local client copy? What is remote client copy? How you perform that. This is my system. Okay. By default, I'll get three clients. What are they? 000, 001,
001.
and
066.
066 client. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating a new client called 100.
100.
If I copy from any of this client to this client belongs to, for example, this is my development system. The same system, now all the clients belongs to same system. Then if you're doing client copy within the same system, then we call it as local client copy. What we call it as?
Local client copy.
Local client copy. Local client copy. Local client copy means what?
So system and target system
Source
belong
and
same system.
not system. Source and target clients. Source and target clients belongs to same system. Source client and the target client belongs to same system. Then we perform local client copy. For performing local client copy, there is a T code called SCCL. What is the T code? SCCL. Remember that. The next one is what? Remote client copy. Remote client copy. Here is what? Source and target. Source and the target client belongs to same different system. Source and target clients belongs to different systems. Then what we perform? Remote client copy. The T code for remote client copy is SCC9. What is the T code? SCC9. To do remote client copy, we need a technology called RFC. What does that mean, RFC?
Remote function.
Remote function call. And the third one is what?
Client export
And
import. How we do client export import? By using SCC8, we export the client. SCC7, post to client import. There are two T codes. SCC7 is one, SCC8 is one. SCC8 is for exporting of the data.
export.
SCC7 is for not for importing. Remember, by using TMS we import the data. After importing, post client import, we use SCC7. Here we use one technology called what technology? TMS, Transport Management System.
Management.
Here also source and target
In different
clients
systems.
belongs to different systems. Are you clear with this? For example,
yes.
now I am having 300 client. I want to copy from 100 to 300. Which client copy I need to do? 100 to 300.
Local client copy.
Local client copy. Excellent. Now I have another system. My some for example quality system is there. My quality system is there. By default, when I install this system, by default I'll get what clients?
3 client 00001
001 and 066.
000.
Now I'll create a new client 500. Now I want to copy from this 300 to this 500. Which client copy I need to do?
Remote client.
Remote client copy.
Or
Or
client export.
client export import. Excellent. Remote client
Or
copy
client
or
export.
client export import. If you want to perform remote client copy, you need to generate RFC connections between this 300 to this 500 and a 500 to this 300. This is what called as RFC, remote function call. We need to create RFC connections. How you create RFC connection means there is a T code called SM59. Remember that T code. SM59. SCC9 is for remote client copy. First of all, before doing that, you have to create RFC connection, bidirectional communication first. That communication you establish by using SM59 T code. If you want to do client export import, then TMS should be configured. How we configure TMS, we'll see in TMS concept. As of now, we'll see local client copy and remote client copy. The client export and import, you won't understand now. When we finish our TMS concepts, then you'll understand that client export and import, what exactly that we do. Okay. Now I have created a new client. What is my client name here? 100.
100.
Now I want to copy from 000 to 100. Which client copy I need to do? Both belongs to same
Local
system.
client copy.
The source client and target client belongs to same system. So we go with local client copy. Remember one thing here. Whenever you create a new client in SAP, if you want to do client copy, you have to log in into that system, that client. Now, which client needs a client copy? 100. So you need to log in into which client? 100. You are hungry. Who should eat? You or me? You are hungry. Who should eat?
Me.
Yes, you should eat, right? The same thing is happening here. This 100 needs some data. So you should log in into 100 client, not in source client. You should log in into target client. Then how? You can log in into 000. You know, there are two users, SAP Star and DDIC. 001 SAP Star DDIC. 066 SAP Star and Earlywatch. Then how can I log in into this newly created client? So whenever you create a new client, one default user will be created in SAP. That user is called SAP Star. And with the password pass, PASS pass. If you create a new client, immediately then the new user will be created in that client by default. That username is what? SAP Star. And what is your client number? 100.
00. 100. Sorry.
100. Target client.
100.
Log in into the target client. So what is default user? SAP Star. And the password is what?
Pass.
PASS pass. And for a newly created client, not for 00001. Remember that. SAP Star and SAP Star and pass. So see, when I'm giving password, na, it is not allowing me to log in. Important interview question. You created a new client. You are saying whenever you create a new client, by default one user will be created. What is that user? SAP Star with the password pass. But for the first time in a system, you log in with newly created client SAP Star password, that won't work. There is one parameter. This parameter is restricting this login. So you have to change that parameter value to, by default that parameter value will be 1. You have to change it to 0. What is that parameter? Login / no _ automatic _ user _ SAP Star. How you change a parameter? Anyone? There is a parameter. You want to change that parameter. How you change that? To change any parameter value. What is the T code?
SCC3.
SL50.
To change any
SL50.
parameter. What is your second class, by the way?
Chandana.
After architecture.
RZ10 parameter.
RZ10.
RZ10.
RT4.
Why use that RZ10?
Change.
To change
Static parameter.
Static
to change
parameter.
any parameter value, you use RZ10 or RZ11. So go to RZ10. Don't leave the previous topics. Now guide me how to do that. Select profile, your instance profile, extended maintenance. You know all these things, right? Change. there is a parameter called login slash no underscore automatic underscore user underscore SAP star. It is restricting SAP star user by automatic login. So is there any parameter like login here? No.
No.
So if you don't find parameter here, what you do? Go to create parameter,
Parameters.
then search. Here search. There is one parameter called login slash no underscore automatic underscore user underscore SAP star. I am giving just login. It will give you all the parameters which are related to login. See, login slash no underscore automatic underscore user underscore SAP star. Control of the automatic login user SAP star. This parameter value by default it is 1. You have to change this parameter value to 0. Only one time activity. Then copy back. See, you got that parameter here. Copy back and say save.
Save.
Do you want to activate the profile? Yes. Okay. So it is giving me one message. It is throwing me one message. What is that? It is a static
Start.
parameter. So to take effect, you need to bounce back your application server. Right? Now,
Yes.
what is my immediate action I need to do? I have to restart my SAP server. Just I'm stopping my server and I'm starting my server again. If you are having disturbance from your end, please mute. See, I stopped my system. Now I'll start my system. Now this parameter will go and say where? At OS level. Your profiles, your instance profile. The system will read that profile and it will behave like that. Now it will allow you to log in by using SAP star and path. Every time you need not to do that. Only one time activity. For the first time. In older systems, by default the value is 0. But new systems, by default the value is 1. That is the reason we have to change that parameter value to 0 from 1. Important interview question. It's a brand new system. You created a new client. Which user you will get to log in? SAP star and with password. Okay, if you are unable to log in, then what will you do? I'll change that parameter value. Which parameter? Login slash no underscore automatic underscore user underscore SAP star. By default, that parameter value is 1. You have to change that value to 0. Then the system will allow you to log in into the system by using SAP star and pass. Now login. What is your newly created client? 100. Username.
SAP star.
Password.
Pass.
Yes, pass. Sure. It gave you login. Right? Now hit the local client copy T code. First login into the target client. Remember. And remember, you should not hit any of the client copy T codes in 000 client. 000 client is master client. If you are hitting any of the client copy T codes in 000 client means you are trying to override the 000 client. It is a blunder mistake of a basis consultant. Remember that. So you should log in into newly created client, the target client, not in a source client. You hit so in which client you logged in? Target client 100 is my target by user SAP star. Now hit SCC. What is local client copy T code? SCCL.
L. EL.
Enter. So our target client is 100. What is your source client? From which client you want to copy?
000.
Triple
000.
is 000. What you want to copy from 000? In 000, you'll have so many things. What are the things we have in client? User master data, application data, client specific customizing data, cross client customizing data, repository data, everything, right? What you want, that is called as client copy profile. Which data you want to copy. If you choose SAP underscore all client specific data will be copied. That means your user master data, application data, and client specific customizing data will be copied. Why only three? Why not repository and cross client customizing? When I say SAP underscore all, only it is picking three things, but not five things. We'll have five things in a client, right? User master data, application data, client specific customizing data, cross client customizing data is there, and the repository data is there. But it is not taking that repository data and cross client customizing. Why? Within the same system, if you create when you create a client, automatically that two will be added. Na? The two are common data. Remember? Did you remember that? Cross client customizing and repository both are common for all the clients.
Yes.
When you create a client, by default it will be added. That is the reason it is asking for only three things. All client specific data, not cross client data. Cross client means common. Automatically it will be added. If you choose SAP underscore user profile, only user data, user master data will be copied from 000 to 100. If I choose SAP underscore APPL, application data will come. If I choose SAP underscore cust, client specific customizing data will come. These are called as client copy profiles. Remember and take a screenshot. If possible, post in the group. What are client copy profiles means? While doing the client copy, which data you want to copy. The client copy profile will tell you that. How many types of client copies? Local client copy, remote client copy, client export import. What are the client copy profiles you know? SAP underscore all, SAP underscore user, SAP underscore cust, SAP underscore APPL, and SAP underscore UCUS means customizing and user master data. The combination of that client data. I'm using SAP underscore user here. Okay, that means what is the meaning of this? From 000, I want all the users to 100. Yes or no? From
Yes.
000, I want users from 000 to 100. Okay. Now here we have two options. Start immediately, schedule as a background. You know what is background job, right? What is background job? If you schedule a background job, you can do any task, your task in the system. In a backend, that will run according to the timetable assigned. Whatever timetable you gave, that time this client copy will be started. If you this is scheduled as a background, start immediately means copy in a foreground means online job. If you say start
Yes.
immediately, dialog work process will take care of that work. If you say schedule as a background work process will take care of that work. If I say start immediately, all the dialogues will be busy. You cannot able to move other screen also till the topic completed. Till the task completed, you cannot do anything. That is the reason I am going with schedule as a background. Okay. And which server I want to execute. If you can have number of application servers, right? In which application server you are having free background work process, that server you give. But here I have only one application server in my server. To go with that and say immediate. If you want to do that immediate, select that one. Otherwise, go to schedule job. See, you know all this immediate, date and time, after job, after event, data operation mode. So as of now, I'm going with immediate, not schedule job. Immediate. It says save. Schedule job. Once again, it is giving you all the details. Target client is 100. To check verification, what profile you are picking up? SAP users means from 000 to 100, all the users will be copied. Source client is 000, and what it is copying? Authorization profiles, roles of users, user data, everything. Not customizing data, not business data, no other things. Only user related data. Copy mode, test mode, standard mode. There will be two modes. If you select test mode, the client copy won't do. It will only check the prerequisite. If you run in the standard mode, it will do. So I'm not doing in a test mode. Shall I continue? Yes. Background job was successfully scheduled. Log is displayed in SCC3. Remember, what is your client copy log T code? Important interview question. SCC3. Whatever it is, a remote client copy, client export import, or local client copy, whatever the client copy log is SCC3 only. Okay. Now go to SCC3 and check what is happening. See, SAP underscore user profile choose. Mode is local client copy. Already successfully completed. If you double click on that, it will show you how many user tables it is copied. All user related tables are 102. That 102 tables are copied to this client. Can I show you the proof? The users are copied. Okay, log off. And what is the user ID and password in 100 client? 100 client. What is the user? The default user?
SAP star.
SAP star. And the password is
PS.
PASS pass. See, the name or password is incorrect. If I hit another password like basis123, it is giving me login. Why it is giving me login means in 000 also you have SAP star user, right? What is that user's password there? Basis123. That user ID and password both are copied here. That is the reason your pass is overwritten by basis123 password. Proved? If you create your own user in 000 and then do the client copy profile by using SAP underscore user profile, then also your user will come. Only users are copied. What are the data you want from source to target? You have to delete. You have to decide in the form of client copy profiles. Can we do it all together once by creating a client and doing client copy? See, now I'm in which client? Now I'm in which client?
100.
100.
100. See, here it will show you 100. So to create a newly created client, what is the T code? To create a new client, SCC4,
SCC4.
and say change. The table is class client. Okay. New entries. I'm going with 200 client now. Well, use development. Anything. City. Secunderabad. Currency. See the currency. When I hit INR, we did not find any matches on INR. Why? This client is not having customizing settings. This
Okay.
client is not having customizing settings. When I am logging with 000, it has baseline customizing settings. When I log in with 001 client, it is also having that settings. This 100 client is not having any client specific settings. 100 client is only having user master data of 000. If I copy SAP underscore all, then I'll get customizing data. If I choose SAP underscore custom profile, then also I'll get these options. But if I choose what? SAP underscore user profile, right? So you won't get that. So don't try to create a newly created client which is not having customizing settings. So simply log in into 000 client and create a newly created client, new client by using 000. You got it. What is client specific customizing data? 000 SAP star and the password is
PSS.
what by PASS? 000 by default SAP star and the default password we will get. Now hit SCC 4
4.
create
Coach.
new entries.
Inventories.
Now I'm going with
Client
300. 200 is already there now. 300
300.
development
Development.
city.
Hyderabad.
Okay, anything Hyderabad or Secunderabad. Okay. See currency. If I hit IN here, see it is showing. These are all customizing settings. 000 has customizing settings, right? Now see.
State.
Now I want to copy 300. What I need to do?
Local.
Look.
Local, right? First I have to log in into the 300 client. Nah? How I need to log in into
So
300 client? Now 300 client. By default, which user will come?
SAP star.
With which password?
Pass.
Pass. Now it is allow you to log in. Why? I changed that parameter value. If that parameter value is still 1, it won't allow you to log in. Now hit SCCL here. Local client copy code here. The source and target belongs to same system. 300. Source is what? 000. And which data you want to copy from 000 to 300? Anything. You can select anything. Why I am choosing SAP underscore user every time means it is having only less number of tables, 1 or 2. We will continue our session. You can take any profile. If you take SAP underscore all profile, it will take some time to do the client copy. If you take SAP underscore user profile, it will immediately do. Schedule as a background. Give a background server. I'm saying immediate and say schedule job.
Continue.
Job is displayed in SCC3. Now go to SCC3 and check.
Completed.
No, that was
Successful.
the old one. Where is our? Is it scheduled? Yes, scheduled. 300 client. $300 successfully completed. If you open that, double click on that, 1 or 2 tables. 300 is your target, 000 is your source. This is how we perform local client copy. This is how we perform local client. How to create a client, how to do the local client copy. To create a client, what is the T code? SCC4. Local client copy, SCCL. What are the client copy profiles? SAP underscore all, SAP underscore user, SAP underscore cust, SAP underscore APPL, SAP underscore UCUS, SAP underscore U only. There are so many. Just you should remember 5 to 6. Whatever you feel easy, decide. Remember that client copy profiles. है ना? चलो. That's it for the day. We'll see tomorrow. What is remote client copy and what is client export?